Coach Trana, 1-0 after the season opener against the Roedeers. How do you feel about the game last weekend?
As all first games go, you always have things you got to work on coming out of it. We had a lot of penalties, a lot more effort penalties, not offsides, that sort of thing. So we feel good about that part of it. But we have a lot to clean up offensively and defensively. But it was a great first start for us. We're real happy to be 1-0.
So this is the second season back in the Super Series. If you look back at the first game against Stu of last year, one of the critical things and the reason behind losing that game was special teams. That looked dramatically different and reversed in the game this weekend. Is something you worked on and focused on during the offseason?
We spent some time on it, but it's mainly due with the personnel we had on the field. We use a lot of starters in our special teams units this year. We want to make sure there's no mistakes in those units, and those guys did a tremendous job. Our kicking was really good. We had one blocked extra point, which we had a blocking assignment miss on that we're getting corrected. But other than that, we were very happy with the way our special teams came out and played, especially the kickoff unit. They really did a good job of pinning those guys deep time and again, so that really helps us out a lot on the defensive side.
And as a coach, you obviously start the season with a lot of questions, right? So are there some firm answers you got from this first game?
I think as you go through a season like this, it's a long season, and we learn about ourselves as we go, and we want to peak towards the end of the season. So it's a good place for us to start. I feel like we're light years ahead of where we were last year at this time. So now it's about getting the guys healthy, keeping them healthy, making sure that our games going forward are played with the same amount of effort as we played in the first game. And the enthusiasm on the team after this win has been great. So I'm looking forward to having a great week of practice, and Carlstad comes in, which is going to be a very tough test for us, and we're looking forward to it.
So are there any specific players or performances you want to call out from the game this weekend?
Yeah, on defense, Linus Lindstrom played really well at defensive back for us. He broke up a number of plays, got an interception. He made a couple of really good tackles for us during the game. He really shined for us, and we really needed him to, playing at that corner spot. And on the offensive side, we were really happy with our offensive line. In the first half, we slowed down a little bit on both sides in the second half of the game, but the O-line did a great job starting out and gave our quarterback time. Quarterback hit a number of really big passes. Hampus did a great job there. You can't say enough about Frederick Eklund. He's always solid for you. Whatever you want him to do, he's good at it.
So that was the first week. Let's put that behind us and raise our gaze to next week. The Crusaders are coming to town. They played the 86ers last weekend. Any reaction on that game and what your expectations are when they're coming here on Sunday?
That was a great Swedish football game, and it was a great way to promote American football over here. It was two well-coached teams playing a very good match. Both of those teams have a lot of talent on it. It was a great, I got to actually, I was scouting, but I enjoyed the game just as a fan as well. And those kinds of things makes football in Sweden more exciting to watch. Both of those guys are going to be very tough to beat this year. I'm glad we get the Crusaders coming down here and not all the way going north for us. We're excited to play them. I mean, we haven't our record against them last year was bad. We didn't play well at all in that game. There was things we were just embarrassed about when we were done. So this year it's a very big game for us. We want to show that we can play with the best team in the league.
So looking back at that game last year, it was a bit of a nightmare, hot summer day up in Carlstad. Didn't go that well. What specifically do you need to get better and do better this year to have a chance against them this Sunday?
Well, number one is tackling. We tackled terrible in that game, and our coverages broke down for us on the defensive side. We had many situations where we just broke off coverages when we shouldn't have. So we're light years ahead of where we were in that situation coming from last year. But defensively, we got to be sure tacklers. They got a great quarterback. They got a great offensive line. It's a big challenge for us on the defense to slow those guys down and get them off the field. Offensively, we just need to be consistent. We need to be able to move the ball down the field, get first downs, control the clock a little bit, and be just more consistent all the way across.
You also mentioned the pleasure of having them coming down south as opposed to the opposite. where it was last year. What does that mean in terms of your preparation? The difference, not traveling all the way north, but then coming down here.
You know, it's the biggest part of that is the players. You're cramped on a bus, you stay overnight somewhere. Our players get to stay at home, get to sit, be with their families the night before. We're very comfortable here. We love our home field. The field itself is great. We have the IFAF markers on there. It looks outstanding when fans come out. It's an actual football field. It's not a soccer field. So I feel like it gives us a whole home field advantage. We had, somewhere in the range of 500 people here last game, and we're hoping to get more in the next game. Support is a huge part of football, and the more fans we can get out, and you can come scream and holler and carry on at a football game, and everybody loves it. So we look forward to having as many fans as we can possibly get there to help us.
Excellent. And last weekend there was another game played where the Northside Bulls beat the Mean Machines 51-7. It's a big win. Any reactions on that game?
I haven't had a chance to actually watch that game yet. We're busy 1 week at a time for us. But just that score, it can be misleading sometimes. And I don't want to really comment on either team since I haven't watched that game. But later on in the season, we'll have a comment for you then.
Excellent. So now you're only one game in. You're 1-0 according to plan so far. A couple of weeks ago we talked and you said that the goal of the season is to reach the playoffs. Now obviously just one game in, you've seen just a few other teams. Any reason to reconsider that target, or that's still the goal of the season?
Absolutely not. I mean, our goal every week is to win every game. We prepare that way, we coach that way, the players are playing that way. So this week, that's all we have to worry about is one game. We don't worry about a 10-game schedule. We only worry about the Crusaders now. So we expect to win every game we go into, and we're working hard right now, putting a game plan together and getting our players ready to go.
All right, Coach Trana, thank you very much. Hopefully next week we speak, and I'm talking to 2-0 Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah.